Hey guys, this is just an overview for teacher professional providers. So, for teacher professional learning providers, essentially your listings are a lot simpler in reality in comparison to lots of other providers. You probably don't have as many things to put in the the actual description box, such as risk management plans and things like that. But there are some things to consider that would again make it easier for educators to filter and find you and decide what's a relevant program for themselves. So, especially for those of us that are sort of just starting to trial it out and usually do incursions or excursions, this is a really good way to start testing and feeling out how providers can gain a bit of a foothold in schools for teachers. So the main thing to be aware of is NESA teaching outcomes. You would be aware of this for you to be NESA accredited. Now, all the information can be found on the Education Standards Authority sites. We're happy to provide some links to this in the About Us section in future, just depending on how much providers would like to know. But the document we've downloaded here, those numbers here correlate with the NESA teaching standard outcomes now, and really anything along the proficient, highly accomplished, or lead line would be the most important for your programs to be relevant for the actual teachers and what you'd be going for to become NESA accredited. Now, there's a lot more flexibility. Sometimes you can do these things online. With this example here, we've allowed it so that there can be booking as well. Maybe you decide to do certain days within different associations. So some associations, like the English Teachers Association, will provide you with days to host these workshops, whereas some other providers will actually just go into schools based on a day and time in which they book. So that booking appointment can be there. Realistically, we would say that that information would be valuable to put into the description box in terms of whether or not there are some dates that you're doing with an association or with the department, or if you do that as well as go to schools. So for this one, we've ticked a range of different subjects as an example. It's teaching for the future. So it tackles a range of elective subjects. Here we've put it under careers as well as a couple of other KLAs. So if we actually take a look and go to edit our listing, you'll see one of the things that we also would encourage, if you are happy to tour all around the state, for instance, rather than ticking all of the boxes perhaps, then just putting New South Wales, it's a parent category, so it should come up because all of these fit into New South Wales instead of filling up the whole page with it. You can see here all the different KLA areas. For different teacher professional learning, often you can start to hit a range or be really relevant for a range of KLAs, and realistically that's what we would hope, because then you're more relevant to a variety of teachers, and we've ticked a range of elective subjects based on this. Sometimes you might be covering here some wellbeing areas as well, depending on what kind of teaching you're providing. But as with previous suggestions, use the program details guides here to give you a bit of a checklist. These are at least some of the most important things. You can always attach more hyperlinks here if you perhaps want to show your accreditation document that shows proof. How much it will cost for teachers is really relevant because it's things that deputies and executive team have to weigh up in their budget. If you have a cost that's going to come out of their budget, so that might limit the amount of teachers that can come for a workshop if they have to go somewhere for it. So those are things to definitely consider. As is mentioned in the past, business hours are always going to be necessary for appointment bookings, and perhaps any videos you have there might be relevant. So as with everything, you can always contact us. provide any suggestions or recommendations based on the video, or if there's any things that you think we're missing out on for teacher professional learning providers. We're really keen to build a bit of a resource kit on the site to help different providers with the documents that they need, the policies, and any potential templates that might save a bit of time, or even just directions to websites that will help you get on the first step to running NESA accredited teacher professional learning, because the amount of hours, there's 500 hours that teachers have to meet over 5 years. So that's something that is really important to get that accreditation for teachers to be willing to and executive to be happy to take on board the programs you have to offer, because those hours contribute to maintaining accreditation. So as with everything, thanks again. Hopefully that was useful, and you can always provide any feedback in that contact us section. Best of luck.